Ukrainian special forces have pinned down a group of Russian soldiers inside this tunnel, pouring fire into the entrance as rounds come back out from the darkness. It's a close-range fight, loud, chaotic, and over in seconds. One by one, the return fire dies off, then suddenly 2 Russians emerge, hands in the air, surrendering under the barrels of Ukrainian rifles. But this wasn't just a defensive position, it was an entry point, and whatever's left inside is still a threat, so instead of pulling back, they push forward, straight into the tunnel. The moment they cross the threshold, everything changes. The noise from outside disappears, replaced by something tighter and heavier. Every step echoes, every breath sounds far too loud. The tunnel narrows quickly with decaying concrete walls on both sides, damp, uneven ground under their boots. In some sections, it's barely wide enough to move shoulder to shoulder. In others, it forces them into a crouch. Light cuts through the darkness in short, controlled beams as the team begins clearing forward, slow and deliberate, because now every corner matters, and this tunnel goes a lot farther than it should. What looks like a simple drainage pipe from the outside stretches deep beneath the front line, in some cases running hundreds of meters, connecting positions that should be completely separated, and that's exactly how Russian assault groups have been using it, moving underground, bypassing trenches, minefields, and drone surveillance, emerging where no one expects them far behind Ukrainian lines, allowing small units to move forward undetected, then hit Ukrainian positions from behind. Which means one thing for the team clearing it now: this isn't just a tunnel, it's a pathway that the enemy knows well, and at any moment, it could lead them straight into another firefight.
Контроль прямо. Есть! Минус! Красава!
The entrance light fades behind them until it's completely gone, swallowed by the tunnel. Now it's just small, narrow beams of light coming from the flashlights mounted on the front of their rifles. The team moves in a slow, controlled stack, one man watching forward, another checking the walls, a third turning back every few seconds, making sure nothing is coming up behind them, because in a tunnel like this, there is no safe direction. Every step is deliberate, boots scraping softly against the ground, water dripping somewhere ahead, and then they start seeing the signs: fresh mud, recently disturbed, scrape marks along the walls, discarded gear, and trash. Someone has been here, not hours ago, but recently. The point man slows, raising his hand, giving the signal for the rest of the team to freeze behind him. No one speaks, no one moves, then it hits them. Faint sounds of movement deeper in the tunnel. The point man starts slowly pushing forward, because hesitation down here gets you killed. The tunnel bends slightly to the right, creating a blind spot. The lead operator leans just enough to clear the angle, and everything detonates at once. A flash from the darkness, gunfire erupts, violent and deafening, compressed into a space that amplifies every single shot. Rounds slam into the walls, ricocheting, sending fragments flying in every direction. The Ukrainians return fire instantly. Muzzle flashes strobe the tunnel like lightning, lighting up figures for split seconds at a time. Shadows moving, bodies shifting, no distance, no cover, just a narrow corridor where whoever reacts faster lives. The first Russian fighter drops almost immediately, collapsing where he stands from multiple rounds to the head. But more are behind him, packed into the tunnel, trying to return fire, trying to fall back. But there's nowhere to go. The confined space works both ways. Gunfire continues in rapid bursts, the sound almost overwhelming now, each shot echoing, stacking on top of the last until it becomes a constant roar. One Ukrainian operator steps forward, tightening the angle, forcing the fight deeper down the tunnel. Another leans into the wall, firing past him, rounds cutting through the darkness. A Russian fighter lunges forward trying to close the distance, but he's cut down instantly. The team doesn't stop, they can't. Momentum is everything here, so they advance step by step, clearing the space in front of them as quickly as they can without losing control. The air thickens with smoke, breathing gets harder, visibility drops even further, and still More movement ahead, more shapes in the dark, another burst of gunfire, another figure goes down, then suddenly silence. Not complete, but close. Just the sound of breathing, dripping water, and the faint ringing in their ears from the gunfire. The team holds, weapons still up, lights scanning, waiting for any sign of movement. Seconds pass, they feel longer than the fight itself, and then a voice from deeper in the tunnel, shouting, panicked. The Ukrainians shift forward again, tightening their formation, weapons locked on the darkness ahead, and slowly, two figures begin to emerge, hands raised, weapons gone, covered in dust, sweat, and blood. Two more Russian soldiers are now surrendering. The team holds their aim, not trusting it. It's a common tactic for Russian soldiers, especially in confined places like this, to pretend to surrender and then pull the pin on a grenade as soon as they get close. If you want to see the uncensored footage from this video that was too graphic for YouTube, our Patreon page currently has a whopping 90% off sale, so now is the perfect time to join and access our full library of uncensored footage, taking themselves and the Ukrainians out. Thankfully, this isn't that, just two Russian soldiers who are tired of fighting. The two prisoners are pulled forward, searched quickly, and pushed back towards the entrance. No time to question them, no time to process what just happened, because the team's focus is still locked ahead, back into the darkness. They regroup, tightening their formation again, stepping past the bodies and spent casings scattered across the floor. The air is thicker now, still carrying the smell of gunpowder, and as they push forward, the tunnel changes. What was once a single narrow corridor begins to widen slightly, and then it splits in two different directions. One veering off to the left, disappearing into complete darkness, the other continuing forward, bending out of sight. The team stops immediately. This is where it gets dangerous, because everything they've seen so far suggests this wasn't just a hiding spot, it was a network, a system, and now they're standing right in the middle of it. The point man scans left, nothing, just darkness. Another operator angles his light forward, same thing, no movement, no sound, but that doesn't mean anything. Down here, silence doesn't mean safe, it usually means the enemy's just waiting. A quick decision has to be made. They can't stay here, they can't fall back, and they definitely can't leave one of these paths unchecked, so they decide to split up. Half the team peels off to the left, disappearing into the narrow branch, the rest push forward, and just like that, they're no longer one unit, they're two smaller teams operating blind. The group moving left slows almost immediately. This branch is tighter and lower, forcing them into a crouch as they move. The walls close in, sound carries differently here, more confined and more distorted. Every step feels louder, every movement echoes longer. One of the operators pauses, lowering his light toward the ground. More tracks, fresh, moving deeper in. They follow the tracks carefully, weapons up, spacing tight, each man watching a different angle, and then a sudden noise ahead. Not subtle, not distant, fast movement. The lead operator snaps his rifle up and the tunnel erupts again. Gunfire explodes at point-blank range. A Russian fighter appears out of the darkness, firing wildly as he moves forward. He's cut down almost instantly, but he wasn't alone. Another figure behind him, then another. They're pushing through the tunnel, trying to break past, trying to get behind Ukrainian lines. The fight is brutal. The Ukrainians hold their ground, controlling the angle, forcing the Russians into the narrowest part of the tunnel where they can't maneuver. Every burst of fire is chaotic because everyone down here, including the Ukrainians, are claustrophobic and panicked. A Russian fighter lunges forward, trying to close the distance. He's dropped mid-step. Another tries to retreat, but there's nowhere for him to go. The tunnel traps him and he's dropped in an instant. At the same time, the second element pushing forward slows as well. Something feels off. Their lights sweep across the walls, catching more sight signs of movement, more discarded gear, more evidence that this tunnel has been used heavily. And then they hear it, not in front of them, but behind them. Faint at first, but unmistakable movement back toward the split. The team immediately pivots, turning back toward where they came from, weapons up, lights cutting through the dust-filled air. A shadow moves across the far end of the tunnel fast, trying to reposition, trying to slip behind them. The Ukrainians open fire immediately, rounds tearing down the corridor, forcing the movement to stop. Another brief exchange, short, controlled, and then silence again. They hold, listening and waiting, but there's nothing. As both teams move further down their tunnels, they end up meeting back at another split. With the whole team now back together, they continue pushing forward. It is now abundantly clear that this tunnel is way more active than they initially thought. Russian assault groups had been moving through multiple branches at once, trying to break through, spread out, and hit Ukrainian positions from different directions, which meant if the team stopped now, if they decided to turn back, those same fighters could pop up above ground within minutes right behind friendly lines. So the decision is made without saying it out loud. They keep going deeper into the tunnel because whatever this system connects to, they need to find it and shut it down. By the time they regroup, the tunnel feels different, not quieter, not safer, just smaller, like it's closing in around them. The team moves out again, pushing past the split, committing fully to the deepest section of the system. No hesitation now. They've seen enough to know what this is. Not a temporary shelter, not a fallback position. This was a route, a way in, and if they don't shut it down here, it will stay open for good. The tunnel narrows again as they advance, forcing them back into a tight formation, shoulder to shoulder in places. Lights sweeping slowly across the walls, catching every imperfection, every shadow. The ground shifts under their boots, even softer now, more disturbed, more traffic, and then they find it. A wider section of tunnel, reinforced in places with rough supports, more gear scattered across the ground, ammo, bags, empty water bottles. This wasn't just movement, this was a staging point, a place where Russian assault teams gathered before pushing forward or waiting for the right moment to move, which means one thing: they are close. The team slows, tightening even further, weapons locked forward, every man focused, because if anyone is left, this is where they'd be. A faint sound cuts through the silence, movement ahead. No confusion this time, no guessing. They know exactly what it is. The lead operator shifts slightly, bringing his rifle up, light fixed straight down the tunnel. And then a figure moves fast, and gunfire erupts instantly. The Ukrainians open up as one controlled burst, tearing into the darkness, lighting the tunnel in rapid flashes. Return fire comes back wild and sporadic. The Russians aren't trying to hold ground anymore, they're just trying to survive. One of them breaks from cover, attempting to push through the only direction left: forward. He doesn't even make it 3 steps. Another tries to fall back deeper into the tunnel, but there is no deeper. No escape route, no alternate exit. The Ukrainians keep the pressure on, advancing as they fire, closing the distance, collapsing the space until there's nowhere left to go. The fight ends the same way it started: fast, violent, and decisive. And then nothing. No movement, no voices, just the sound of breathing again. The team holds their positions, rifles still trained forward, light scanning every inch of the final section. One operator steps in closer, checking bodies, checking corners, checking anything that could still be a threat. But it's over. The last pocket of resistance inside the tunnel is gone. But they don't get to relax, not yet, because clearing a space like this isn't just about eliminating the threat, it's about making sure it can't be used again. They begin marking the area, identifying the structure, looking for weak points, places where the tunnel can be collapsed, because this hidden pathway beneath the battlefield was never supposed to be found, and now that it has been, it's not going to exist much longer. The team starts moving back toward the entrance one last time, scanning the darkness behind them, confirming what they already know. There's no one left, no movement, just an empty tunnel that's about to be bombed into oblivion. Psalms 46 verse 1 says, "God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble." Not distant, not absent, present even in chaos. And whether it's war zones overseas or battles you're dealing with in your own life, that truth still holds strong. If you've never put your faith in Jesus, it's not about having everything figured out. It's not about being perfect. It's about recognizing that you need him and choosing to trust him. Romans 10 verse 9 says, if you declare with your mouth Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. Thank you all so much for watching this video. God bless you and your families, and God bless America.